Hey, hello everyone. It's Carm Capriato, 12 noon East Coast time. It's Tuesday. Where would you rather be than right here, right now, as we get a chance to talk to Mary Ann Croce and also see inside her great business with her husband, Tony, Croce Transmissions in Norwalk, Connecticut. How you doing? Hey, Thanksgiving's right around the corner. We of course, we aren't taking a day off for any of the holidays, any. We may be recording some and playing them on the due date. But yeah, just continue to know that all the great content that we provide for you is going to be coming at you as we work so hard to advance the aftermarket. Mary Ann, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Carm. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy you're here. You've just become a great friend and a wonderful contributor to the show, and we sure do appreciate that. Croce Transmissions transmission specialist in Norwalk, Connecticut. We're going to have a tour of her place. Let's look at a inside screenshot of this great going business. And if you're with us on social media, please don't hesitate to say hi, check in with your city, give us a comment or share. We are on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn. We're everywhere. Wherever we can push this thing out, we are. And we're coming to you live from the Dorman OE Fix studio. So great to have Dorman as a partner on Aftermarket Weekly. So, Mary Ann, how's business?
Business is booming, right? We're hearing that from so many shop owners. We have a lot of work, and we have to. I think just play this out. We have to adjust because things have changed a little bit. But yeah, we have to enjoy this ride after the issues that we had in the early days of COVID.
Yeah, well, I'm happy for you guys. How long has the business been there?
We opened in 99.
99.
Yeah. So it's been
Okay.
a long time,
It
22
has.
years.
Yeah,
Yep.
22 years. Wow. And that 98 rings a bell for me. So thank you for reminding me how important the late 90s were, just before, of course, the whole world was going to crash when we went into Y2K. Hey, a high five out to a great new product from Dorman. Hey, we all know that fixing cars is different than how the OE builds them. Now, take fuel lines, for instance. Fuel lines run and rust along with the chassis of the vehicle by nature. Now, especially in the colder months, trucks can be exposed to snow, salt, or rain, causing failure due to the corroded fittings, deterioration in the line. Now, to help you in your wallet, Dorman Products' team of engineers have redesigned the typical fuel line. Introducing Dorman's flexible stainless steel braided fuel lines. Made from braided stainless steel over flexible PTFE tubing, this upgraded material features a corrosion-resistant design. Each fuel line is an exact fit with the dimensions of each application. Now, improved durability is the highlight of this new design. This innovation is a Dorman OE fix, which means it's something that the original manufacturer doesn't offer. These fuel lines are quality assured and backed by their team of product experts and more than a century of automotive experience. Hey, want to learn more about Dorman's innovations? Visit dormanproducts.com/tour. Hey, one of my French roast salutes to Mary Ann for all the great stuff you've done with me on the show. We've done shows on mental toughness. Businesses grow when the owner grows. We've done shows on advice to a new business owner. You were on the 400th anniversary. The Town Hall Academy on Don't Be a Micromanager, and Back Office Operations. There were 2 episodes you did with a bunch of the ladies out there. And speaking of the 400th, the 700th Remarkable Results Radio is coming up. And I think it's December 10th that it airs.
Wow.
So, while I am so excited about, you had all the shows, all the different venues we had, Town Hall Academy, For the Record, Remarkable Results Radio, Aftermarket Weekly, we have over 1,000 some shows. So thank you, everyone, for hanging out there. Our listenership is growing incredible. I think the industry, I can't say it's taken 6 years, but finally, I think there's some incredible movement in shop owners wanting to better their business, their life, their people, their families. Hey, next week's the Town Hall Academy, next week, this Friday, everyone, is growing sales for a new location. Now, these 3 guests, Ryan Clough, Reggie Stewart, and Greg, and Kenny Widow have all had new locations within the last year, and I really am looking for them. Kevin Said, Carl Hutchinson, Kenny Widow. I said that right this time. They all have new shops, and we want to pick their brains as to what's going on with them. Well, look, Marianne, let's talk about the craziness of our lives. And I got to tell you, I know that you want to talk about how life happens and how sometimes life just dumps on us.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens. We can have the best laid plans, but then all of a sudden life happens, right? And when things don't go as you planned, how do you handle it?
Yeah,
So the most recent thing that happened to Tony and I was we switched over our shop management software. So that's a big transition
huge.
and huge, right? Not only do you have to understand it as an owner, but each department has to understand that. And we also in that process had to get some new computers and we had to update some accounting software as well. So we had a team member who was out during all of this, unplanned emergency, things happen, life happens, and we were faced with that learning curve, but we had to do this while continuing to do business as usual to like really best serve our team. So, how do you handle that? Because as shop owners, we know that life happens, things happen, we can have the best laid plans, but day to day, right? Things emergencies come up and we have to be able to deal with it. So that's really what I wanted to talk about is how do you handle those things?
Let me say that I really forgot to mention that Marianne is also a coaching consultant, and her company is smallbizvantage.com. That's why Marianne is she's so good. I mean, the advice she gives has been phenomenal, and I know she's just a phenomenal coach and consultant. By the way, this whole life happens thing, talk about what COVID has done to so many. I mean, our family, we have an incident of COVID in my family, my son, and everyone had to go out and stop, can't go anywhere, get the tests. So as life happens in the kind of, if you will, the whatever post COVID, we have to not get so stressed out and stop and put a plan together and figure out, okay, how are we going to get up and over this?
Right, exactly. And then take action on that plan.
Yeah.
So those systems and processes, the framework, something that we could rely on because when life happens, when you're stressed, I find that there's frustration for all of us. And that's usually not the time when we make the best decisions. But if we have a framework, a system, a process that we could rely on and say, okay, we're in something right now. What do we do? It really helps.
Yep, I got it. Well, look at shop management system, new computers. OMG, did you bring any great slides for us for so that we can check
Yes,
some stuff
yes,
out?
I
So
did.
walk us through this.
Okay. So it's human nature that when change happens in our life, that we're going to go through these different stages of change. And the first one, and this even goes back to when I was in corporate in my banking days. The first one is, oh no, right? It's kind of like shock, right? What do you mean we're going to go with a new software system? I like the old one,
Right.
that type of thing. So, or we've always done it that way. So it's a shock and it's a little bit of denial as well. People can get frustrated with that. That tends to lead to that next step, that frustration.
Can
And
I
some,
stop? Let me
yeah,
stop you there for 1 minute.
sure.
What just came over me, Marianne, was anyone who's listening to this or viewing this video, as life happens in your business, as you decide to make change in your business, be it going paper to from paper to paperless, moving to a DVI, changing software programs, buying a new piece of equipment,
Mhm,
committing to a great training program, realize as a leader of your business, these human emotions that Marianne is talking about are going to happen
mhm.
inside your business. The opportunity for this episode is to help you recognize this denial and shock piece, and how you go to the bottom lowest part of the curve, and how you help not only yourself, but in many cases your team get up and over it into acceptance. So I just wanted to say that this is so important in the life we're leading today.
Absolutely. And as a leader, to your point, Carm, we need to be an example for our team. So how we're showing up, when you look at it this way, how we're showing up really can either hold back the team or help the team. So when you go through this denial and shock, and it may not necessarily be you, this could even be team members that you may getting a little bit of pushback from. So it's, you know, the first part of that is I'm used to what I'm doing. I know it well. So that's the mindset a lot of times when we go into night. I don't want this to be happening. Then that leads to frustration because, you have someone say who's on the counter in front of people and they don't want to look silly or feel foolish like they don't know what they're doing. They've been doing what they've done for years and they're really good at it. So now there's a little bit of that frustration in people. How long is it going to take me to figure this out? All of that. Is it going to affect my job? And some people will actually get angry and may lash out a little bit. Like, they don't believe it, show me, prove it, those type of kind of comments that they'll say. And they don't feel like they're going to really align with what's happening. The next stage is when people realize that this is happening and it's not a choice, it really is going to happen. They get to a point where they're starting to accept it. And now they're actually going in and trying to figure out whether it's a new piece of equipment, as you said, or software, digital vehicle inspections, shop management software like we did, even if it's a change in your systems and processes at work, they start to accept it and they start to explore. They're
Yeah.
learning new features, they're learning more about it to see how it can help them in their role. And then we get to commitment and rebuilding. And then when you get commitment and rebuilding, people are actually sharing and saying, "Oh, did you see this feature?" Or "I know how we could use this. I have another idea." You get a lot of collaboration at that stage as well. And it's funny because people will go through these different stages differently.
Yeah.
Some people will go through them quicker, some people will go through them slower. But as a leader, as an owner, a manager, and I go back to my banking days with this when I was in management and we had a new software system that we were using, and we got a lot of pushback, and it was up to the managers to transition their team. So the difference, if you go to the next slide, is when you have a pro mindset, the time in denial or frustration is very short. And you go right to acceptance and you go into that exploration phase and commitment and rebuilding. You don't spend a lot of time. And now we're talking, the difference is speed. You're
Okay.
going to get there quicker.
I have a question. I have a team of 6 people. We're going to make a major change in the company. They're going to go through the denial and shock and be at the bottom of this J curve of change, frustration and anger. And like you said, they may come up and out at different times. In order to recognize and move to the commitment and rebuilding phase and putting this team together inside of this change, do they all have to be there together, or am I going to walk people through this individually?
I think you walk people through it and you meet them where they're at.
Okay.
So if there's someone who's going through it quicker, and they're more positive, I think that would be a great person to help others through it.
I
If they
see.
figured out something in the software and someone else is struggling with it, those are usually the people that would jump right on board and say, "Oh, I'll help so and so with that. I can get them
Okay.
through that."
So you're recruiting people that have already, they're at the commitment stage.
Exactly.
Cool. Great.
So this is a framework. When you think about change and what we're going through. This is a framework that I have relied on personally and professionally. And I have to give kudos because I didn't make this up. I have to give kudos to Gary Vaynerchuk because I actually had a time with him that I was on one of his shows that he did, and I was able to ask a leadership question. And he broke this down very quickly, and then I unpacked it for us in the automotive space. So the POP framework stands for positivity, optimism, and practicality. You need all three for this to work. If you just have positivity and you're a very optimistic person, that's all great. You're upbeat. But if you're missing practicality, the world will see you as delusional and they won't take you seriously. So you really need that practicality piece as well. So
So
if you
in the practicality thing, you don't want me to be a dreamer. You want me to live in the real world?
I want you to I'm gonna explain in detail what it means on the next
Okay.
slide, but yeah,
Okay.
practicality is a big, big part. That's like the reality check
Okay.
of what's going on in your space. So if you go to the next slide, so this is how it works. When he explained this to me, I unpacked it and I said, "Okay, great. How how am I able to be positive? Where does my positivity come from?" So I looked at it and I said, "Well, it's because I create a plan." When you don't have a plan, you feel like there's a lack of control. When you do put a plan in place, you actually feel like you've gaining control. And we've done that through COVID. That was a major thing. Shops had to create a plan of how they were going to handle it. So what you're actually doing is listing your activities or steps that are going to get you to your goal. And you want to stay focused and you want to set deadlines because deadlines and staying focused are what actually make you do the things. Planning is one thing, but planning alone won't get you there. You have to actually take the steps needed and create deadlines for yourself. So, what we did in our situation was Tony and I, with the new software, we sat down and we looked at it as a project. We didn't look at it like this was going to be some big thing that was just going to be hanging over our heads. It's a project. And it took a couple of weeks, but we put some time in and we did some training on the weekends at home, and we were more comfortable when we went in and we were better able to help our team and show them the different parts of the software that worked for them. And we had a deadline. We knew what we were going to be able to do, and it worked. Optimism is when you reflect to gain clarity. So, a lot of times when you're going through change, you're not clear, you're unclear because it's all new to you. But when you reflect and you say, wait a minute, I've been through some tough stuff before, right? What have you gone through? And what have you learned from that? Because there's always lessons. A lot of people say, don't look, always look forward, never look behind. And I disagree with that because the best lessons come from where you've been. If you beat yourself up over it, a mistake or a learning lesson that you had, yeah, then you're looking at it in a negative way. But if you look at it to learn, it's going to make you stronger. So, what have you been through that actually made you stronger? So, when you sit there and you go, okay, I've been through some tough stuff, but you know what? I'm going to get through this. So, it's optimism. You're very optimistic. And then the last piece is the practicality. That is the reality check. And this is where you gain confidence because you can plan all you want. You can plan as a business owner. You can even plan as a tech. But what happens when you actually do and you've worked on the vehicles and you get more efficient, more proficient, and you get better at it? That's when you gain confidence. You gain confidence by doing. So, what I suggest for this is you assess your resources available and how much will it take of the resources? And there's only 4 resources. We can complicate this, but every single shop has the same 4 resources. We may have different amounts of them, but it's time. It's your time or someone else's time. How long is it going to take? In our case, to learn this software. We broke it down into pieces, and that helped. Then it was money. What was the budget? What was this going to cost? We ended up having to update some of our computers, and we have to update some accounting software. So we factored that all in. And then people. Can we delegate or can we outsource when we have a challenge? So we decided to delegate the different training videos to the different people that fit their roles. And that way it wasn't so much on one person, and then we could collaborate and help one another. And then skills, that's also a resource. Is it a skill that you have or your team has, or is it one to build? And what is the value of building that skill?
Unbelievable. You always bring such great commonsensical solutions to each and everyday problems that we have. I think you really summed it up well. So here's the bottom line. Face your challenges, learn from your successes and your failures, and deal with it, because you're the leader of your organization. No one else is going to do it. They're going to look to you. They're going to look to you for, okay, boss, what do we do next? Right?
Absolutely.
And God, if you're spinning out of control, so will the rest of your team.
And if
So
you
will the rest of
empower
your
them,
team.
they'll actually know what to do next.
So thank you for helping us crystallize. Uh, Stuff happens, right? What's the word? Stuff happens. Life happens.
Life happens, yes.
Thank you so much, Marianne. Next week's town hall. Did I? Yeah, I want to talk about next week's Town Hall Academy. Maybe you need a boss is what we're going to talk about, and I'd love for you guys to all show up for that one. Now, we want to talk about. Hang on, everyone. I have I have lost my place here in the show. That rarely. Okay, just a few things that we have done so successfully this week for you. Let's check out some of the episodes that we've done this week. Tracy, do you have that slide that we could put up? Love to see that slide. I think she's working on it. Well, and if not, I think we have it coming up here in a second. Please bear with us, everyone. It's not like we're so unprofessional that we've never done this before.
Well,
Here we go.
kudos to you for all you do, Carm.
Here we go. Here we go. Finally, we have something here. Short-term goals will change your behavior. Bob Cooper did one hell of an episode. I think this is a life-changing episode. Every time I get with Bob, he motivates me to some of the highest levels. Please invest in this. And Marianne, I know you consult with other businesses. This is an episode for any business person, any leader to want to listen to. Bob crystallizes behaviors as it relates to goal setting. Coaching CEOs to their next level came out last Thursday. An excellent, a lot of comments on social media not to miss this episode. And of course, Margaret Palango became the CEO of Auto Shop Solutions. And we had her first interview after that. So we were so happy for that. Hey, I think it's time for our tour. It's one of those things that I just don't have the buttons down right today. I'm so sorry. This rarely ever happens. Marianne, here, let's look at your place.
Yeah, this day it had just poured, and we were so fortunate that the sun came out. This is the parking lot of our shop. We have a very long, narrow, deep parking lot, so we have to juggle the vehicles. If you slow down for a moment, yeah, this is our waiting area. You can go ahead. We don't have a lot of waiters. Being a transmission shop, we're really by appointment only, but we do have an area. You could stop here. This is a wall. We actually didn't have time to put everything back up because we just had our annual shop cleanup, so we have more things to go up there. But there's some local things on here. We sponsor go-karts, and it's amazing how many people come in and recognize the photos and know exactly what it is, and it was pretty exciting. And then we have some certificates that the technicians had earned, and some different things from the chamber
Yeah,
awards that we have won. But it's amazing when you're involved in the community how many people recognize that. You
it's
can
a
go
wall
ahead.
of fame, a wall of fame.
Right. So we're a small shop. We only have about okay, you can stop right here. We only have about 3,800 square feet, a little over 3,800 square feet. So we are a tiny shop. We have two other businesses in our building, tenants, because we purchased the building a few years back. So we make the most of it. We're small, but we use every bit of space. So we have some basically cleaning supplies over there on a shelf with COVID. You have to have accessibility to masks and all that. And we have a coffee area there that customers and the shop can come in, the techs can come in. We didn't really have a big area as far as parts, but we're okay. So that's the restroom that we use for the public. It's simple, but we keep it, simple and clean. We don't really have a lot of people that come in, as I said, are waiters. So, and that's just a view from the shop. So we have this small area here, and this is where our parts would come in. There's actually three shelves there, and they're labeled, and it was perfect before. But now that we're booming, we have to restructure a little bit differently of the part situation, because with the delays and having to push cars outside, we're having more parts coming in. So we're going to restructure this area, and we may take a little space in the shop to do that. But those three shelves worked out fine for years.
Those are good growing pains.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, you can continue there. Okay. I think they were helping a customer at that point, so I was waiting to see. Now we're going down the hallway there, and this is our lunch meeting area. Again, it's a small area, but we make the most of it. We have a computer in there, a kitchen set up, and I believe I might have gone around the other side where we have, microwave, toaster, oven, things like that. Yeah, just to set it up so that people could come in. When we were full blown in the COVID mode, because this room is a small room, we did our meetings in the shop.
I got it.
But everyone is comfortable now, so we're back into doing meetings in there. Now we are a transmission shop, so we have a lot of transmission work. Um, I don't know if I got okay, yeah. I might not have got the first lift in there. It's afterthought, right? That you think about it. But this is basically the layout in the shop. If you stop
What's the percentage of transmission business versus
if you
normal
stop it
automotive?
for a moment,
Okay.
yeah, we were always about 75% transmission work and maybe 25% general repair. And I
Yep.
categorized it that way, but I have to say that I mean, when you're doing transmission work, they may need a radiator. When you're doing transmission work, they may need so it
Sure.
was associated with the
Yeah.
transmission work.
Okay.
Now we're a little higher. We have a waste oil heater that we use, that red piece of equipment there. We have a waste oil heater that we use for heat. You
Yep.
can keep going. And we have some that is a parts room. It's not a huge parts room. We don't stock as much as we used to years ago. You can keep going with that because you get overnight delivery a lot of times. But we do have, some stuff there. And when I say that we use like every bit of space, I think this is when I panned up.
Look at
Okay.
that.
We have
Yes.
a flight of stairs going up there to that ledge. And yeah, we use every bit of space in a small shop.
What do you use, a forklift to move them?
They no, we don't use a forklift. It's usually like chains
Okay.
or we have a flight of stairs at the end. So each technician has their own laptop. We did that, and I think at this point I was going to go up the stairs to get like an aerial view. But we have 4 lifts. The one on the very end there is a truck lift, and what we ended up doing was we put a winch on the truck lift because a lot of the trucks that come in don't move, and would make it really hard for them to
Oh,
get
sure.
on
Yeah,
the
that's
lift.
smart. Yeah.
So
Yeah, you
that's what
did
we
go
ended up doing.
upstairs.
Yeah, so I went upstairs so that you can kind of see the whole shop.
It's the drone shot.
Yeah, there you go. Right, high ceilings. That was a must. We needed high ceilings so that we can put trucks on there. And yeah, and a power pusher helps as well. That's a tool that's invaluable to us because again, a lot of the vehicles when they come in, they're towed in and they do not move. So
And they don't
that
move, right.
that helps. Yeah. So we actually have this space, one of our tenants in front. We have them, and we also had the warehouse that you saw at the end with the loading the dock there was a carpet place as well. So we have a lot of traffic coming in and out. The street is very busy. We're a city. We're in a city, and there was a study done that Tony and I went to, a traffic study that was done. We have 26 to 27,000 vehicles that drive by our shop every day, and this is for our drop off. This worked out really well. When people want to come pick up their vehicles after hours, we send them a link so that they can make the payment, and then we put their key in one of the key boxes with a code in it, and they're able to come and pick up their vehicle,
Very good.
whenever they want. And I think the last image here was of the team in front. We have a customer service rep and our service advisor as well, Tony. And we have Christina, who she's a customer service person, but she really does so much for us. She's the first one to answer the phones. We have a kind of like a chain, right? She's the first one. Tony's the next person. And when I'm there, because I'm usually in maybe 1 to 2 days a week, and I'm the third person. So this way we know who's getting the phones.
Cool.
And yeah, it works out really well.
So nice to see, as we talked about last week, a lived-in shop,
Yes.
and let's just say it like it really is. It's busy.
It's busy. And it's funny, that first picture that you showed in the shop,
Yeah,
um, that was actually a picture I think we might have even posted on social media where they were, like, cleaning out the bays or sweeping and the bays were empty. That is annual we clean up every week, but that is an annual cleanup that we do where the floors get washed, everything gets scrubbed down, repainted, and that was a photo, that we did.
Bill Hill, yes, thank you. Yeah,
Yes, Bill.
Bill, I talked to Marianne about your tour last week, so thank you for hanging out with us, Bill. There's another beautifully lived-in shop, and and so we had Bill. It was a great episode last week. Thank you so much for Marianne. Thank you for the tour. Thank you for the great wisdom early on how to deal with life, how to actually come up with a little format, a little chart, a little some leadership points on how we could get through life. Don't forget, we're on YouTube, we're on all kinds of social media. This episode will release as a public podcast this coming Saturday. And next week, Justin Fricky from Cart Time Auto Center is going to be with us for some great, cool wisdom that he's got to share and a shop tour. Marianne Croce, thank you so much for hanging out with us and being my friend.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you.